edit the video. It's not a big deal. We are now streaming live on YouTube's. Hi, everyone that's not watching this live. It's Meg and John here from Bite Size Digital. We are waiting for Alicia to rush in. She was having a hard time finding parking. We are going to talk about our book review today for Once and Future by Amy Rose Capella and somebody else, right? I forget who the other person is.
Oh, I didn't bring it up. It is Cori McCarthy.
Yes, so
Amy Rose Capella.
So very funny. I'll give you a little background, Meg. I did. I watched a lot of videos after I read the book. Well, first of all, I went to Goodreads and looked at the reviews for the book. And boy, aren't those a joy to read. So there's a lot of ones and a lot of fours. So which is normal. And then I did read that the two people that wrote the book are in a relationship. They're in a, they're both gender fluid. So they're significant others of each other, which makes sense. But it's funny. I watched all these book reviews and the first line of every book review is, so let me preface it by saying that every book review I watched was like a 20-something super woke, goth looking white female, right?
Okay.
So I will preface it by saying that. And Alicia is walking in. So let's
Alicia.
Here she comes. So yeah, we're live. So come on in.
Cool.
So I'm going to
coming in hot.
Coming in hot. I can share my screen with another camera, but you're going to be huge on the screen. So there's Alicia. Hello. So Meg and I are tiny.
Hello.
And Alicia is giant. So because I'm sharing my screen as you.
Expect to have to take 10 minutes to park and walk over here.
I meant to tell you that. Anyway, so Alicia, I was saying, so Amy Rose Capella and the other chick are gender fluid and they're in a relationship. They're significant others of each other. Just as a point of reference.
Okay.
So I was saying that after I read the book, I went to Goodreads and looked at the reviews on Goodreads. A lot of ones, a lot of fours, right? So it's a little both ends of the spectrum. Then I went to YouTube and watched about 11 reviews of the book. And I said to Meg, let me preface it by saying that every review I watched was a 20-something white female who was super woke and somewhat gender fluid or pansexual-ish. And the first line of every one of the reviews was, I was so waiting for this book and I so wanted to read this book. And then the next line of all the reviews was, I fucking hated it. And there's a million things I have to say about it. So here's where I will begin my review of this book. So this book also turned up on everyone's worst book of 2019 list, right? So it's like one of the worst written books of 2019. So here's my concept of what I thought of the book. I enjoyed reading the book. I thought it was a fun read. That being said, the plot was all over the place, didn't really go anywhere. The characters were never developed properly. And at the end of the day, what I felt like the book was I felt like the two of them sat down and said, there are 70 boxes we need to check to print this book. And those boxes are, we have to have somebody of every part of the sexual spectrum. We have to have every race, color, creed, and everything else. And this has to be the most woke book that's ever been written. It doesn't matter if the book's good or if that we follow a story arc or if that we bring characters in from nowhere with absolutely zero fucking context. We're just going to bring them in and we're going to throw it in there because we could check a box that says that one character in the book is asexual. We're not going to explore that at all. We're not going to talk about it at all. They're just going to be asexual because we need an asexual character. And Ari's got to be Middle Eastern from Earth because we need a Middle Eastern character. That being said, I actually enjoyed reading the book. I found it to be enjoyable to read. I just felt like I was reading someone's checklist.
All right. So I really enjoyed reading the book as well.
Mm-hmm.
I hated the ending leading into the next book.
Mhm.
Like, I felt if they had ended it right before that weird thing with like, let's have that unborn baby.
Yeah.
If they had ended it right before that, I would have been like, you know what? I solidly enjoyed this book.
Fun read. Don't know that I would ever read anything by either one of them again, but I enjoyed actually going through the book. Meg, what was your initial?
So what I had said to John before you got here was that I really, really enjoyed the book. However, I felt that it was utter garbage.
Oh, it was a trash book.
So
was it Salem's Lot where he talked about in the author's note, like trash books?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
This was a trash book.
This was a trash book. So I listened to the audiobook and what?
Me too.
Oh, so I listened to the audiobook and it was a perfect, lovely distraction while I was doing dishes or whatever. I liked listening to it. I could definitely fall into it, but I just kept coming back to like, who published this? Like,
Yeah.
what is this? It seems like someone took a bunch of different ideas, kind of like what you said, their checklist, and
Yeah.
was just like, here's the concept of what we're doing, and then spent no time tying it together, no time figuring out how it plays. Like, there's this big part about like, Merlin's love for I almost said for Arthur, for Archie, what? Oh my God, what is her name?
Lamb's brother.
Yeah.
No, not that. Like the actual, like her Ari.
Oh.
His love for Ari and Ari's love for Merlin. They talk about this big love, and apparently, like I get Merlin's love for her has been like centuries building, but like her love for him is supposed to all come from like this one moment where he like saved her from the where she saved him from the vastness of space. That like one little second there, he like pulls back on that. Like what? I don't understand why there's any love there or any connection at all, and why they're willing to die for each other. Like there's nothing. There's no buildup, no friendship development, like nada. I
feel like this was a great first draft.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't agree more. When I got to the end of it, I felt like after I read Carrie by Stephen King, although his book was more thought out, I thought like they sent this to somebody and somebody should have said, okay, that's the first draft. Let's do this 25 more times and get this right. And instead they were just like, nah, just publish it. But so my feelings on it were exactly the same. Right. And then it's just like I felt everything was rushed. Like the relationship between Ari and Gwen was just like, boom, we're in love, we're married, done. Like there was no.
What could have possibly been the most interesting time for Ari was just completely skipped over. That year of her alone on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
That like
Nothing.
There should have been
Heartbeat.
a preface
Yep.
that got her there, and then there should have been a follow-up. Like,
yeah.
Well, like I hate to be one of those people that's like, this should have been a series, because like how many books do you see that are just like it's a whole series and all that stuff?
Yeah.
But there were so many interesting aspects of this book that if they were drawn out and done well, I would have really loved it. Like the concept that the plague on the jail planet was just like given to the prisoners, and like that the whole planet was the jail. That in itself I thought was such an interesting concept, and I would have loved to learn more. Like that could have been a whole book, or at least a whole couple chapters on its own, of like him get like how he got arrested and being in the prison, and then like finally discovering her, and then how they're going to break out, like them, not her. But it just like there were all these parts where I was like, oh, that's cool, and then it's just over. Like what? Like
I felt like
how
it
did
was
that
a
happen?
really strongly built world too. Like I thought that it was an interesting, like the Mercer company was like, I thought that it had all the right ingredients. Someone just opened the oven door too early.
It was a book of bullet points that no one explored into actual characters and different things. There's so many parts of that I would have loved to have learned more about them, or have it fleshed out more, where they fell in love and all these different things. And you didn't get any of the backstory.
Ooh, ready? We
these
can tie it in. Go ahead.
You get these characters introduced. Like I love the concept of Lamb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did that go? And then like at the end, you just have this like lead into the next book, which I thought was the start of the next book, honestly, when it started on the audiobook. And then it's just like Merlin's like, well, you can't take Guinevere, she'll get stoned. And like the rest of us are all not white and gay.
Yeah. Yep. It's so bizarre.
The one street guy died.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's a testament to the book.
I was going to say that if you want to tie it into our marketing books, it was like this entire book was all the visionary and like the all these really great ideas and then no execution, like no one there to be like, we got to do all this stuff.
Yeah, good, cool concept. So I like take out the woke part of it, right? Because that was obviously them checking boxes, right? They were like, we're going to write.
I felt like they were also pandering.
No,
there's not.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't have been pandering more to like the audience, the LGBTQ audience, where they were just like, we're going to make sure that you have a strong character of every one of these groups. Yeah. So take away that, there was actually a really strong concept there for a book. And I think they got stuck in the way of trying to make it so woke instead of saying, let's write a really great story and then we can back the woke into it. They just went all in with the woke instead of that, which is hilarious. Yeah, I threw the book across the room yesterday when I finished it.
If it wasn't an audiobook, I might have. The ending just like murdered me.
Yeah.
They could have stopped it, like I said, right before Mercer came on with a new character. Yeah. Let's talk about them introducing a new character in the last 3 pages of the book.
Yeah.
I was
gonna hack
with
into your call real quick.
Yeah, hack into your call and demand that you give us your unborn child.
Yes.
Not even like when the child's born. And
Nope.
I still don't understand why they're going back in time.
We want the embryo to get the Holy Grail. They just took it in a bizarre. Yeah, there are no words for what is going on there at the end. I have no idea.
But there were really funny moments.
There are very funny moments in it. There were some interesting moments in it.
I see why everyone was excited for it.
Yeah, I totally do too. It just didn't come together.
I was super excited when you told me what the book was about. Like, I think Alicia was the one who told me what it was about. I was super excited, and I will never recommend this book to anyone. Literally yesterday, while I was finishing the book, I got a text from a friend asking if I had any book recommendations for her niece who's in 10th grade and like interested in some YA books. And I feel like this is very much a YA book. And I was making a list and this was not on it. And I was reading it at the moment. Like, that's a bad sign.
Also, I think I really enjoy YA books for the most part.
I do
but
too.
As a mid-30 something, it is so awkward now when there's like these random sex scenes in there and you're like, they're teenagers. I don't want to read this.
Yeah. I will say that I have always loved YA books and I still love them, especially like any dystopian area, like give me a Hunger Games or Divergent series, I'm there.
Yeah, I love it.
But I feel the same way. It's like, I don't like, these are minors. I don't know how I feel.
I just feel like they should release a book with all that in it for like teenagers, because I think it's an important part in teenagers like exploring their sexuality and everything, and it's very sex positive. However, as a mid-30 something, there should be a version released for old people who like YA books where it just skips over that, because I don't need Merlin.
Well, he is thousands of years old, so he's not actually a teen.
Yeah, well, that just makes it more problematic now, doesn't it?
Well, as he explains, he used to be thousands of years old, and now he is 17.
He's lived
just as in you used to be 3.
All right,
and are now
better example. I don't need Ari kissing her way up what's her face's thighs. Like, that was a little too much for me. They're teenagers.
Yeah. Well, or like, I think at one point it like said the word nipples, and I was like, I can't. They're like teenagers. I can't. Yeah, not okay.
So here's what I will say. Not as bad as The Magicians.
Yes.
But
I will say this. You guys read The Magicians prior to me ever working there. I tried so hard to read that book. I was so excited for it. I made it halfway through until when they turned into Arctic foxes, and then we're just having like giant group orgies.
Bag of dog shit.
And don't get me wrong, I am perfectly happy with like talking about sex positivity. Like, you do what you have to do. but
Yeah.
teenagers as foxes having orgy, like it was just too much. I was like,
Well-
what? We've lost the book here. We've lost
Magicians
the
was
point of the
also
book.
weird because they were over 18.
They
in
were
Magicians.
college age.
They were
Yeah, they were
college
in
age,
college, yeah.
which makes
Like-
it even weirder somehow.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
I was so excited. It was marketed like Harry Potter in college. I was
Yeah,
like,
no.
this is great.
Not
It was
true.
not that.
So here's my advice. Go to Goodreads and read some of the reviews for this book because they are awesome.
I think
And
that you
there
should
are-
read your favorite one to
There
us.
are
Just let us know.
500 of them that are all 1 star, that are all stopped at page whatever. Stopped at page 68, stopped at page 132, stopped at page this. They're really funny.
I have to say, I wasn't sucked in. Like, I did get the hook finally, but it wasn't until after Merlin blew up the moon.
Yeah, it took me a long time to really kind of get into it. It was a fun book to read. It just wasn't.
My hook came pretty much with Merlin. I was very excited as soon as he popped out. The beginning when they're in the, like, she's in the night costume and all that stuff, and it's just like, this is silly. I was not into it. And then pretty much as soon as like Merlin woke up in the cave, I was like, yep, all right, I'm interested.
I did appreciate their little like, oh, you thought that was the sword of the stone? Not yet. It's
Yeah.
gonna be in an oak tree.
Yeah. Cute book. Wouldn't recommend it, but I'm not upset that we read it. It was fine. I enjoyed
If
it.
anyone watches this and they want to take the checklist out of this book and just like expound on all of those parts, feel free to email it to me and I will read it.
You know,
Yeah,
how
this was
often
basically a fan fiction book anyway.
I've wanted to, because all right, so for anyone who doesn't know this, huge fan fiction fan. Do you know how many times I've wanted to rewrite people's fan fictions for them?
You should do this, Alicia. Rewrite this.
You should
book.
offer a service.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many times where I'm like, this could have been great. I love your concept, but now I'm a plagiarizer if I rewrite this.
You can
for
email
you.
Stephen King and tell him that you're here to land his plane for him. I will land your plane.
You
Stop
should really
circling.
use the outline version of the head that we have
Yes,
now.
I'm aware of that.
Okay.
They're too light. All right, everyone. So again, this week we read Once and Future. Fun read, bag of dog shit. The next book we are reading is The Shining.
No.
Oh no,
Moon's
Full
next.
Moon is next. Full Moon.
Wait, what's Full Moon? I definitely started Shining.
Well, it's
Which
fine.
one
You
was
can
Full-
read Shining. Full Moon is the next book in the Dresden series. That's the next one.
Okay.
And this one, just to warn you, Meg, this is my least favorite one.
Yeah, it's
No, is it worse than the first one?
no, it's not. I don't think
It's
it's
on
worse than
par
the
with the
first
first one.
one. Yeah, it's not.
And
it's
it's
not
short.
worse. It's short. It's definitely a short book. It's about werewolves.
I have
You'll
the
get there.
audio book if you want it.
Yeah, if you want to send it to me, I'll listen to it. I'm about to drive in, so if you really want to send it to me, I can start it on my hour
There you
drive
go.
in.
All right, we can make that happen. All right, so Full Moon is next, and that is October 29th. Join our book club at bitesizedigital.com/fun stuff.
club.
Or book club.
slash book.
Book-club.
Go to
but
our website and just join the book club. Do it.
The books and the clubs.
you need to
um,
update that page too.
Yeah, we have to update it with the newer books. So that's
Put it on
next.
my
The
list.
Shining is after that, and we will see
Super
you guys.
excited for The Shining.
Yeah, that one's gonna be good. So I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Check us out at social media at Bite Size Social. Thank you guys. See you in a couple minutes, Meg, or an hour.
Bye.
Good.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.